Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told how to voice the radio. So today, we need to look at a bunch of new stuff coming, which, I'll be honest with you, right, I'm just willing to bet most of you didn't see this coming. It's a little bit surprising, and a lot awesome, and if anyone is living in Korea at the moment, I'd like to ask a favour. So we might as well start off with there. What we've got a whole bunch of cool stuff coming. But one thing that's just gone and been revealed this morning is that over in Korea, there are promos being given out with the M11 stamp. Now, this came from the lovely Primal Lugia over at Poker Guardian. And I'll be honest with you, when it comes to Korean cards and shops and things of that nature, I think ill-informed is probably about the best way to put it. I'm not an expert, but I do know that they're getting promos of Regigigas and Shaman. And essentially what's happening here is you go and watch the Pokemon movie 11, hence the M11, Giratina and the Sky Warrior in theaters starting from June the 1st, and you can get yourself these promos. And according to Primal Lugia, there are going to be 50,000 copies of Shaman V distributed and 150,000 copies of Regigigas. And these are cool. Now, you might notice Pokemon Movie 11, Giratina, and the Sky Warrior. That's not a recent film, ladies and gentlemen. That is, in fact, a film from 2008. That is a 14-year-old film. It's not just come out, all right? But it's cool, I think is a way to say it. It's a very cool film. And it's Gen 4. We all know we're in Gen 4 phase at the moment, right? We've had those remakes of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. And we've had Legends Arceus, which is set in Hisui, which is, of course, Ancient Sinnoh. We've been in Gen 4 mode for a little while now. The TCG has been full Gen 4 for a few sets. So, you know, Shaman and Regigigas, full-on Gen 4 Pokemon. This makes way too much sense, ladies and gentlemen. This makes way too much sense, and I, for one, am absolutely delighted. Now, given that Regigigas is my infant son Ruben's spirit Pokemon, if there is anybody out there that is around and about and is able to actually pick one of these up, wants to try and orchestrate a trade, hit me up on Twitter at the Wassy. I would be delighted. Also, if you go onto the Korean website for this, there are like 2 images from the film, and one of them is Regigigas herding an actual herd of Mamoswine down a hill. I mean, come on, ladies and gentlemen. It's basically that. As far as Pokemon images go, it doesn't really get much better than that. That is one of the most perfect images in the history of the Pokemon brand as a whole. Now, in terms of the promos, the Regigigas is actually the Korokoro promo. Came on Korokoro magazine a couple of months ago over in Japan. Yeah, I picked up the Japanese version, but that was easy. I just picked up the magazine. It was fine. We have no word on exactly how this is coming out in English, but it is overwhelmingly likely to be a blister promo over here. I think I've shown you this before, but the Flapple from Brilliant Stars, that is a 1-pack blister promo. That was a Korokoro promo, so that kind of makes perfect sense. We also see that in Astral Radiance, one of the 1-pack blister promos is the Korokoro Oricorio. So this is generally what tends to happen. It's sometimes 3-pack blister promos. The Snorlax, that was a 3-pack blister promo that started life as a Korokoro promo. So, you know, that's a thing. That was in Chilling Reign, incidentally. So it's probably going to be one of those when it makes its way out over here. Over in Korea, all you have to do is go and watch the movie, and you can get yourself one for free. The Shaman, for what it's worth, is literally just the Shaman V that came around in Brilliant Stars. It is that exact card. It's no alternate art, etc. But, and I think this is extremely important, it's got a stamp. Who doesn't want the stamp, ladies and gentlemen? Who doesn't want the stamp? Don't get me wrong, that Shaman's very cool, and it's 3 times rarer than the Regigigas, but the art on that Regigigas is amazing. It's Ruben's spirit Pokemon, so that's the one I covet, ladies and gentlemen. That's the one that I covet. Hey, speaking of cool stuff, Serena. It's not a great transition, but it's the best we've got, all right? Serena is a very popular character in the Pokemon brand. just kind of as a whole. Now, Serena is actually the protagonist, the player character, call it what you will, from X and Y. Or I suppose if you choose a male character, then she becomes your rival. Point is, Serena is the protagonist from X and Y. Serena is extremely popular. I've been chatting with a lovely Prom Luger about this, and I think it's fair to say Serena is one of the more popular characters in Pokemon. With all of that borne in mind, when I tell you that there's going to be a playmat, deck box, and sleeves coming for Serena, you should start getting a little bit excited and also a little bit trepidatious, because these are going to be over-the-top popular. We saw that when VMAX Climax actually came out, weirdly, and this took me a lot by surprise, but it turned out that it was actually the Gloria full art card, the Japanese Gloria, that ended up being the most sought after of the cards in that set. You know, far more so than the ones you might have thought. It was Gloria that was the real chase card, which is a little bit weird. And then, of course, they did release that Gloria and Victor set with the absolutely stunning artwork. Although, to be clear, that was a set released as a whole. Here, what you've got is deck box sleeves and playmat all being released separately, which is not the same. And I do think that is very important and does need to be borne in mind. So, Serena's coming along, and this is pretty big. I mean, another example we could use is Irida, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong, but look, it's close enough, alright? If we go and look at Space Juggler and Time Gazer, one of the things you'll find at the moment is that Time Gazer can actually be picked up pretty cheaply. Like, I can get a box of that delivered to my house in the UK for like 42 quid, which is, you know, RRP plus very reasonable postage and packaging from Japan. And yet, I can't do that with Space Juggler. And one of the main reasons I cannot do that with Space Juggler, and to be fair, it's partly because of Palkia. Palkia is probably the best deck in Japan right now, and you've got, you know, the regular version plus all the others. But it's also Irida, which is the card from Sword and Shield 10. That is the one that everybody's after. That full art is the most popular card. So, yeah. That's pretty big. And we see this with a lot of the female characters. These end up being pretty gosh darned important, pretty big. Like I say, Gloria was really the card from VMAX Climax, surprising basically everybody. And Irida is the card from Sword and Shield 10. And I don't think it's unfair to suggest that when we see something like this Serena stuff, it might end up being very, very popular indeed. Like crazy over-the-top popular. It is important to note, now if we take a look at some actual specifics here, what we see is that these are being released on September the 2nd, and if that sounds a little bit familiar, it should. That is the day that Incandescent Arcana, that set we've been talking a bit about recently, is due for release, and yeah, at this stage, although it's not actually revealed, we can just assume it's true, okay? We can assume that it is legit. It also means there is going to be a Serena card in Incandescent Arcana. Remember, whenever they do this merch, it always crosses over with cards that are actually in the set. So, yeah. And to be fair, the sell sheet does mention that Serena is going to be a part of Incandescent Arcana, and if that doesn't mean there's going to be a supporter card, I'm not entirely sure what that means. And then obviously a supporter card means that we are going to see a full art version. And then, like I've said, right, at this stage, the full art version basically guarantees that that is going to be the big card in the set. I mean, I can't tell you for absolute certain it might not be, but come on, ladies and gentlemen. At this stage, I think it is all but a given that this is going to be the big card from that set. Just like Gloria was for VMAX Climax, just like Irida was for, or is at the moment, for Sword and Shield 10. So I think at this stage, we should all get a little bit excited about this, but it's also one of those cards you need to kind of hope you pull from the pack, because if you don't, sorry, you're probably just never getting that card. And hey, while we're here, the lovely Antoine Boulet is now in Thailand and has provided us with some information about trophy cards from Thai events, which look awesome. So what we've got here is, if you go, there is a Thailand Nationals which is happening. And if you pop along there, you can get yourself a lovely participation card. And that participation card is a stamped Professor's Research Professor Juniper. It's just a regular, reverse hollow foil, call it what you will, version, but it's stamped with the Thai national stamp. And I've told you before at this stage, right, I love me a good stamp. If you give me a decent stamp, I am all in, ladies and gentlemen. I am all in. This is kind of brilliant. But then we've also got a whole bunch of other cool stuff. There are trophy cards coming in here. Now, these are very much like the Japanese ones, but obviously in the Thai language. And the lovely Antoine Boulet has reminded us that because they'll probably be switching the design next year, because of the whole, Scarlet and Violet thing, these are clearly Generation 8 trophy cards. These are clearly Gala trophy cards, and we're not going to want that when Scarlet and Violet come out. This basically means that these are probably, the champion and finalists are the only one of these cards will ever be printed, and the top 4, there will only be 2. But because it's got Pikachu and is by far the most sought after, that will actually end up probably being the most expensive of them. Yowza. Also, for some reason, there's a grand prize shirt, which is for champions only, which is super weird to me. But you know what? I'm down with it. This seems kind of cool. But there are also a bunch of other things going on, including there are a whole bunch of side events that you can enter to try and win yourself some promos. And these promos are very much worth having. We've got that Rowlet, Cyndaquil, and Oshawott that started life as KFC promos over in Taiwan. We've seen them included in the Collector's Bundle and the Collector's Chest over here. And now over in Thailand, these are enter side events, earn yourself a bunch of points, and then trade in those points for these promos, which is honestly extremely cool. Or you can get yourself Lance's Charizard V or Dark Sylveon V. Remember, these were promos over here as part of the Celebration set. And this is interesting because these cards made it out in Hong Kong and Taiwan, but they've not made them out as it stands at the moment to other Asian territories. These have not been released in Japan. But now they apparently are being released in Thailand. Oh yeah. And that amazing Arceus V, the one that was a pre-order promo or an early purchase promo for Legends Arceus, the video game over in Japan. The one which is coming in that Arceus V box over here. Yeah, that's going as well. And this is actually super awkward because you need to basically just be entering side event after side event after side event, because you need to be farming these cards because they're all amazing. For what it's worth, the first partner Pokemon are redeemed with 1 play point from side events, whereas the V cards take 5 play points, so, there we go. Also, I've got to mention, on the website, there's literally a little bit right at the bottom that just says, Pikachu will also come for a walk at the fair. And I don't know why, but there's something about that just makes me very, very happy, and it's just absolutely lovely. And to be fair, right, I met Pikachu at the EUIC this past weekend, or actually weekend before, I suppose, at this stage, and I got my photo taken with him, and I recorded a little video for my kids. Pikachu's awesome, all right? Pikachu's awesome. And that's pretty much what you need to know. It's a little bit of a mishmash of weird stories and weird promos, but Serena's coming and that's kind of a big deal. We've got these awesome promo cards over in Thailand and these awesome promos over in Korea, none of which I was expecting to cover this week, but hey, that's how it happens. For now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about all of this, and I want to know which of these promos you would like, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing is always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.